So good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to Airship Aviation Academy. Generally, for other webinars, conducted by our competitors and in general at other places, you would be having a face, you would be having a name who conducts your webinar. Since apologies here in this case, I would be unable to do that. I'm sure most of you will try and understand this is because of the organization that I work for. There are a set of particular embargoes on us of what all can we be indulging ourselves beyond the organization. So, just purely in the interest of myself, I will be unable to share my name and my face. However, I can tell you that I've been flying in India for one of the leading airlines at the moment. I've been in aviation for the last 18 years. I've flown both the Airbuses and the Boeing aircrafts, and I've got more than 10,000 hours. I'm a senior captain currently flying in one of the Boeing fleets. I've been a trainer myself, so I think that in shorts should be able to instill a good amount of confidence that the person who's conducting this webinar today is not a newbie. I've been there, done that. I've been in aviation. All right. So I'm a part of Airship Aviation Academy. I've been actively involved with them right from the moment they started. So we have conducted quite a few webinars in the past a month or two, ranging from what to expect in Indian aviation as an industry. Why is there a lull in the industry right now? Until last year, we had very regular frequency vacancies which were coming up. Indigo type-rated batch, Indigo CPL only batch, and then we had Air India Express, and then all of a sudden, what happened? So the previously we have conducted these webinars. Today, uh, only because so that we do not divert away from the main topic, we'll try and stick strictly to what are the benefits of the pre-type rating opportunities which Airship has. Airship would be happy to provide. So with that, all of you who are there with me today, I would just request you all to kindly share your I suppose that most of you are all CPL holders and are looking forward to going for 320 type rating. So I just want to know that where did you do your flying from and in which year did you finish your CPL? And if at all you are type rated, let's say you were type rated previously on a ATR or a 737 and now you're planning to go for 320. This is all that I would like to know. So let's get started with Vibhuti. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, sir. I did my flying from International Air Academy, Florida, and I got my multi-rating in December 2020. And I'm not currently.
Okay, Vibhuti, I think I lost the connection with you there. You said you finished your multi-rating in 2024.
No, sir. 2023 December.
23 December. All right. So are you type rated yet?
No, sir.
No. All right. Thanks, Vibhuti. Shivam?
Hello, sir. My name is Shivam, and I completed my CPL training from Bombay Flying Club. I got my CPL, completed my training by November 2024, and then I went for 320 type rating, and I'm
Okay.
320 type rated as well from BA Vietnam, and I
Achha.
got type
Okay.
rated in Feb 2025.
Okay. All right. That's good to hear. Thanks, Shivam. Mohammed Khalil?
Yes, sir. Good evening. I did my
Hi.
training from To Fly Airborne, Florida.
Hmm.
Completed with single and multi-engine 2023 June. And I am not type rated. I'm actually planning on getting type rated in the next 2 months. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mohammed Khalil. Abdul Baki Bhatt?
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Just a
Hi,
few
good
months back, I completed my CPL from Florida with my multi-engine rating, and I just got done
afternoon.
with my conversion here, and I'm waiting for my license so that I can proceed with the type rating in the coming months.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Abdul. And Aman, Ismail?
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, I just completed CPL from South Africa and in the last month, and I'm back in India with my conversion.
Okay. All right. Next one is Arunima.
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Arunima and I've done my CPL from Canada. And 2023, I got my Boeing 737 type rating in 24. And I'm looking forward to get my type rating on 320 if things work, depending on the set.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right, Arunima. Thanks.
Thanks.
Next was who's this? Karthik Sai.
So, good afternoon, sir. This is Karthik. I did my flying from Sky Creation in Long Beach, sir, back in July of 2023, and did my multi last year in the month of November from TSA, sir. And
Okay.
I actually got selected into Air India Express, but recently popped up with a mail stating that it has been put on hold. So I was thinking to go ahead and do my type rating on 320.
Oh, okay. So you Air India Express, as in the one the vacancy which came last week of December for 737 and CPL both, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And this mail that you're talking about, that currently this vacancy has been put on hold. How recent is this email?
So this is 2 days before the accident that happened, sir,
Okay.
on 10th.
Okay, on the 10th. All right. So has this mail has been received by anyone else also in your friends group who made the cut in Express?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, I've received the mail as well.
I have received
Okay,
the
so
mail as well.
so I don't know how many of you were there with me in my one of my last webinars. That's something which I had already pointed out. Uh, you know, unfortunately, what I said, what I had from my experience, what I had perceived is generally it doesn't take this long for a vacancy to get over. If the vacancies are getting prolonged, it is one of the corporate ways of signaling that things have been put on a slow, this thing on a slow burner, and they're not going to be. They don't. I mean, this is one of those ways to say that we don't want to hire people at the moment. Okay, and you may or you may not. The chances are of you may be getting an email shortly that these vacancies have altogether been annulled and cancelled. So unfortunately, now they have already said that. So yeah, but nevertheless, don't worry. Uh, it's a very cyclical affair, huh, this job thing. So we'll get back to it at the end of our um webinar. Don't feel disheartened. This is not the first time it's happening. It's been happening from 2005 and 6. Ever since aviation was, started on that boom when we had airlines called known as Air Deccan and Kingfisher. I think most of you are from Gen Z and Gen Z plus generation. I don't know if you heard of an airline which existed, Air Deccan. Okay, that was one of the pioneers in aviation back in 2004 and 5. Anyways, so fine, thanks. That's a new news for me. Next one would be Aryan Agarwal. Aryan, are you there?
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Aryan. Just want to know, Aryan, where you've done your CPL, which year, and are you type rated?
Sir, I did my CPL last year in the month of September and I am not type rated.
Okay, all right, no problem. Thanks, Aryan. Aryan Kadyan. Aryan Kadyan, can you hear me? Okay. Next is Sachi.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sachi. I am still undergoing my CPL training from National Flying Training Institute.
All right. Good to hear that, Sachi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Shreya, ready? Shreya? All right. Then Vishwanath, no problem. Sagar, Miles. Sure, that's not your real name, huh? Miles? All right. Anyways, guys, welcome to this. As you can see my screen, let's get started. We at Airship, we offer amongst many other programs, one of them being the airline hiring. The plan for the airline hiring ahead is all those guys who have either finished their CPL or are somewhere in the middle of the CPL path, CPL journey, or whoever who wishes to go for 320 type rating. We have a tailor-made course specifically targeting all those students who wish to go for 320 type rating, something called as pre-type rating opportunities. Okay. So now, why is this important? I have extensively flown the A320s myself over many years, and I can tell you it can get quite overwhelming from transitioning from a Cessna 152, 172, and then onwards to a Piper Seneca or a Seminole, and then onwards to suddenly sitting in a jet aircraft, be it a Boeing or an Airbus. It can get very overwhelming, and some things, things as small as how to even control your flight deck seat, how to set your rudder pedals, how to even wear a seatbelt, okay, how to even use a headphone, and then what is a switch for interphone. These are very, two elementary things. Even these very basic elementary things, they sound to, they tend to be very overwhelming. So in order to assist you all, whoever wishes to go for 320 type rating, in order to assist you all to contain that startle effect, that sense of something big has hit you psychologically, there is a 1 week to 10-day course of pre-type rating, okay, which mainly stresses on the important aspects which you will be doing right from day one. It will give you a sort of a jump start, and it doesn't. If you're going for your type rating and you're planning to spend somewhat, something in between from, let's say, 12 lakhs to 20 lakhs, depending on which part of the world you wish to go to, or are you planning to stay back in India and do it from different institutes in India? This is the range which encompasses pretty much all the training institutes for 320. If you want to spend that money, I think few thousands of fees, which is which is a fees for this particular course, is just a small drop in the ocean. But the amount of help that's going to give you is just fantastic. Okay, so slowly we'll just move on to the next slide. Okay, so what are the topics for discussion today? We will be discussing what is the market requirement for the A320 pilots in India in the years to come, the airline fleet expansion and market impact, the India's aviation market and the pilot demand, the global pilot shortage, pilot training infrastructure in India, key numbers for A320 pilots. Specifically, we're not talking about Boeing or any other Boeing fleet over here, because this is strictly a pre-type rating for A320. Why are we only having it for A320? Is this is a course which we had commenced last year itself, as back-to-back vacancies for 320s were coming up. So this was something which we had already envisaged, and we came up with a course module. Upcoming airline vacancies. What is the pilot demand in India? Why the pre-TR course is important? Highlights of our pre-TR course. Our classes, CBT videos, our study material and mock test. Point number 10 to 13 is something that I'll try and take you through our website. Just take last 2 to 3 minutes so that you can get a hang of what to expect at Airship. All right, so what is the market requirement for A320 pilots? Okay, so what is the market requirement for A320 pilots? So as you can, before we get started, guys, here, when I say the market requirement for A320 pilots in India, please don't parallelly have any sort of sense of anxiety or sense of, I would say, pessimism, that here we are sitting in a webinar where I'm seeing the instructor telling us about how bright the market requirement is for A320, whereas from the last 6 to 7 months, we have not heard of any vacancies. Okay. On the contrary, we got into, we cleared a couple of stages for Indigo, but after that, we haven't heard from Indigo at all. We cleared Air India Express, and unfortunately, just 2 days prior to the unfortunate accident which happened, they sent an email that we have put these vacancies on hold. Try and understand that you have no option but to keep that optimism in you. This is a cyclical nature of our aviation industry. It has been there from 2004, ever since Air Deccan made an entry into Indian aviation back in 2003, 4, 5. From the last approximately 20 years, this is how it has always been. Okay. Barring a few years, when in 2008 and 9, when we had the Lehman Brothers crash in US and we had a recession, and back again in 2020 at the onset of COVID. Barring these two phases, otherwise vacancies have generally been coming after every few months. So if you don't hear of any vacancies today, it should not take the fun away from you, or it should not discourage you from either attending the classes or going for 320 type rating. Okay. Today, a CPL holder alone, to be honest, doesn't really have any weightage. There was a time in 2004, 5, 6 when, being a CPL holder, you could simply walk into the HR office of a Kingfisher or a Deccan or a SpiceJet or a Goer, and they would just, Goer and Indigo, they started later, even SpiceJet. But what I'm trying to say, there was a time when you could just simply walk into the HR offices of these airlines and they would give you a job on the spot. Okay. No written exams, just a very informal interview and you had a job. Things have changed. Today, a CPL holder alone means nothing. So much so, there's an ocean of type-rated guys also. So this is something which has become a necessity today. Okay, so if someone who is still in a frame of mind that I don't think I need to go for type rating, well, there are once in a blue moon, you will have vacancies. Like last year, Indigo came out with a CPL only vacancy, but these vacancies with every passing year, they're only shrinking in number. There will be a time sooner than later that they will stop hiring any CPL holder whatsoever. Okay, so they'll only rely on either type rated guys, or the third option now, which the airlines have begun implementing, is to have their own cadet pilot program. So they will recruit people right out of class 12th, train them, make sure they have their class 2, class 1, their computer number, they give their exams, send them for flying to different flying schools wherever they would be having their collaborations with, bring them back to India, and then decide which fleet. So let's say if it's going to be Indigo, Indigo is going to decide, okay, we have our cadet guys who are all ready. We need 20 guys on ATR, the next 20 on A320, the next 20 on A350. Okay, so it is similarly for Air India. So for now, a CPL only guy should actively be looking at this of getting a type rating done. All right, so as the aviation sector in India continues to expand, the demand for 320 pilots is projected to grow significantly, driven by major fleet expansions from key airlines. All right, so you all know which are the key airlines. One is Air India, second is Indigo. All right, Go Air is non-existent, SpiceJet is a Boeing fleet, Akasa is a Boeing fleet. So for now, Air India itself has got aircraft orders of more than 500 in number, out of which easily more than 300 are of Airbus alone. Now, out of these 300, around 70% of these orders are of A320s, and the remaining 30% are of A350s. But the fact of the matter is, A350 is also going to create a vacuum in the market, because nowadays airlines, they don't send a CPL holder directly on a wide body. Okay, this is done in the interest of safety, to have some sort of experience in that bigger machine. So what they do is they upgrade their A320 first officers onto A350, which creates that sort of cyclical vacuum on 320s. So more than 250 Airbus orders alone by Air India, more than 500 aircraft orders alone by Indigo. Now that's a humongous number. And this is not just rhetorical. It is out there in the media. It is being sent out as media releases by the respective airlines. It's a fact. Now, these aircrafts are not going to come in a matter of an year or two. They will be coming in over the next 10 years, okay, in phases. Every month, every 2 months, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4 aircrafts coming in and joining in. And that actually has been happening from the last many years. All right. So moving on, the country is increasing air traffic. I mean, we all know that we are the third largest aviation market. Global trends in aviation. This is not exactly true as of today. It was true until a few months back. Today, we got a geopolitical tension. We just had a bit of a India-Pakistan skirmish last month. We have a Russia-Ukraine war going on from the last 3 years, which has actually rendered that whole area unusable. So all the aircrafts are now ending up flying longer routes between Europe to India, between US to India. And now the latest one, I'm sure all of you, even if you were following the news at a basic level, you'll know that there is something brewing up between Israel and Iran, which is again, some chaotic issue in the Middle East. So now, because of these things, you can expect the oil prices to go up. And yes, the last one, that was the third reason. Now, the last one, a very, very unfortunate thing which happened. We all know, prayers to all our fallen colleagues and the passengers, something which happened on the 12th. Okay. So this technically has put, I believe, the Air India group a few years back. They will have to, reevaluate their whole plans. But generally, otherwise, because of these tensions in Middle East, tensions in Europe, a lot of your airspace, okay, is closed. A lot of the airports are closed. Uh, there is a sense of fear that the fuel prices may go up. So all these things added up together. Today, we can't really say that the global trends in aviation are very positive. But again, at the same time, these trends are generally not prolonged in nature. Whatever has to happen in War A or War B or these things, they are going to be short-lived. They may create a delay of about 6 months to about 1 year to 2 years. But after that, aviation generally will have to rebound. what happened after COVID? Everything shut down for the 2.5 years, and the moment 2022 we were in the mid of 2022, the air travel surged like at a rate which was never seen before. So that when the surge happens, then the airlines are also in a second kind of dilemma, because now at that point in time, they suddenly need so many aircraft, so many pilots that they don't have. So these things are cyclical. All right, that my whole lecture around this thing is to tell you that these things are cyclical. We all will come out of it. So let's dive deeper into specific factors. The airline fleet expansion, I've already told that. India's aviation market growth and pilot demand, the global pilot shortage and India's role. Pilot training infrastructure in India, key numbers for A320 pilots in India's aviation growth. All right, so the first one being Indigo. We all know India's largest airline, something which I just told you. Fleet growth, Indigo, India's largest carrier, currently operates with over 300 Airbus A320 family aircraft. They're currently flying more than 300 aircraft. Huh? That's a crazy amount of number. The airplane has placed an order for 500 more 320 neo aircraft. These deliveries are expected expected to occur between 2030 to 2035. So, like I said, the 500 aircrafts will come between 2030 to 2035. But Indigo, from the last few years, whatever orders which they had placed, let's say 2 years back, 3 years back, 4 years back, those orders are still being delivered as we speak today. Okay. So technically, Indigo is receiving a few aircrafts, 2 to 5 aircrafts every month. And they're going to keep receiving that until 2030. And then from 2030, this 500 order will start. So imagine the amount of requirement that Indigo alone is going to have. This is only 320 aircrafts. They've already confirmed I guess 60 aircrafts, 350s. So on one wide body aircraft, it is assumed that you need around 15 sets. On a ULR fleet, a 777 or a 350, you need 15 sets. 15 sets means 15 P1s, 15 P2s. So if you have, let's say 10 wide body aircrafts, you need 150 P1 and P2s to man just those 10 aircrafts. Okay. Indigo has how many? 60 on orders. How much is 15 into 6? It's 90. So that is a crazy amount of number which they're looking at. All right. So expansion plan. By 2030, Indigo plans to increase its fleets to 600, with a major portion of these being A320 family models. All right. Now, similarly for Air India, fleet orders, Air India under the leadership of Tata Group has placed an order of 470, which they increased later on, including 210 320 NEOs and 321. Air India's expansion aims to strengthen its domestic network. Okay, this is all standard. So this 470, which you see, this has already gone up. It's already crossed 500. Okay, majority of them are 320s and 350s. So now when we're talking about 320s, you can kind of imagine the amount of requirement that you're going to have in the years to come. You guys need to be resilient. You cannot be impatient, okay, and be in a state of mind that if I don't get a job in the next 2 months or 6 months, then boss, I'm leaving this field altogether. I'm going and doing something else. No, you have to be persistent, resilient, and patient. Every guy who has got a job in the last decade has been resilient. Unfortunate part of being resilient and patient in this field is there will be a constant amount of money, either your own money or your parents' money, which will have to be catered for to maintain your recency. Well, that is an unfortunate part of it, but then that's how the things are. As long as you can maintain your recency, which is your IR checks, your your license renewal every year, and you can keep your type rating current, you stand a very bright chance to get in. It's just a matter of when. All right, then India's aviation market, channel knowledge stuff, our passenger traffic has been rising at a double-digit rate, 10 to 12%. And it is a forecast also. They have been rising, and the forecast is that this double-digit rate is going to be maintained for the next 20 years. Okay, in India, the size of the airports, like the major airports, only those airports are relatively big in size. Let's say Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. In fact, to be honest, if I tell you, I don't know, maybe some of you would have been to airports like, EWR, JFK, Charles de Gaulle, Heathrow. If you see Delhi's IGI from the sky, it is just 1/3. It is actually not even 1/3 the size of a Charles de Gaulle, Newark Liberty International, or JFK, or Dallas, or London Heathrow. It's max to max, it would be 1/3 the size of these airports. Okay. So that is, I mean the terminal building, the passenger capacity, the passenger handling capacity, like the Terminal 3, Terminal 2, Terminal 1D combined, they're just 1/3. So India has a lot of potential. The problem is we are growing, we're trying to grow, but we are not growing at a pace that we hope to. So the reality is we are going to continuously grow over the next 20 years. Okay. Then regional connectivity, government initiatives such as UDAN, we all know that. Next, coming to the global pilot shortage and what is going to be India's role in it. Okay, so what is the forecasted pilot deficit? The aviation industry globally. Okay, so these figures are globally now, not just of India alone. Is facing a pilot shortage expected to reach 24,000 pilots by 2026. The shortage is felt particularly acutely in countries like India, which is seeing rapid growth, which is true. Okay. There are some other factors also which are driving this growth in India. And the other factors are it's not just Indian market which is growing. It is also the other aviation markets, the major aviation markets like your UAE, the two major airlines of UAE, which are Emirates and Etihad. In addition, their subsidiaries also like Fly Dubai, Qatar. I'm sure if you were to just simply go on Google and type aviation news, right now Paris Air Show is going on. Just few months back, Trump had visited Qatar. So Qatar had committed to hundreds of Boeing aircrafts. These commitments which are happening today, the deliveries will start happening in 5 years' time. Similarly, the aircrafts which are getting delivered today, their commitments were made 5 years back. So this aviation market is always going to be on the rise. Especially after COVID, the US aviation market was also on an upswing. Now, what had happened is in COVID, a lot of these expats, they were all thrown out of the airlines. Emirates was sacking people, Etihad was sacking people, Qatar was sacking. Now, when all these expats, which included Indians as well, Indians, Americans, when they all got sacked from Middle East, they all went to their respective countries. They went to US, Canada, Australia, India. Now, after COVID, there was a resurgence in air travel in US, Australia, in all these countries. So most of these expats, they never went back to Middle East. So that is the reason now these airlines, Emirates, Etihad, now they are also facing a crunch. The good part is they are very open to after the due selection process, they are very open to hiring a lot of Indians as well, just like they are open to hiring all other nationalities. So now that also creates a vacuum. So that thing has also been going on from the last 2 years very actively. So it's just the more number of first officers, captains move out of India towards Middle East, the brighter your chances are to get a job even faster in India. Okay, and that thing has been happening. It may just slow down a bit now because of these geopolitical tensions, but these geopolitical tensions of Israel, Iran, and all these things are not going to last long. 6 months, 1 year max, the fuel will go up. Eventually, things will fall back and they will all come back to normal. So, this is just trying to tell you that silver lining that there is always a hope. Okay. In India, the requirement in India alone, by 2030, India is expected to require more than 10,000 pilots, a significant portion of whom will need to be trained and certified on popular aircraft such as the 320. Okay, so in India, all the airlines combined, the number of orders for 320 are far more than what they are for 737. The rising need for 320 pilots in India is part of the broader global issue of pilot shortages. Therefore, it is a strategic decision for you to please go ahead and do your 320 type rating. Okay, I've flown both the Airbuses and the Boeings. Both the aircrafts are fantastic, but yes, purely going by what is the demand in the Indian aviation scenario, it is 320 hands down. Okay, what is the infrastructure that we have in India? The government is investing a lot, in expanding these pilot training infrastructures. So they're coming up with new new flying schools. They're coming up with new institutes who get their due certification on BGCA, and then they start imparting ICAO and DGCA approved A320 type rating. I'm not trying to publicize anyone, but yes, just for the sake of giving an example, like in India, you got FSTC, which is an Indian thing. Plus, now even the CAE and the Airbus group have come up with their own type rating institute. So there are many. There are many in India. Having said that, there are many outside as well, like GTA, CAE is there abroad as well. You got proper Airbus in Toulouse. So whoever wants to go wherever, there are a lot of options around. The second one is employer-sponsored training. Airlines like Indigo and Air India, they continue to offer type rating programs for new recruits. So that is only after getting into the organization. Okay. So again, when is that going to be applicable? So let's say if these guys had these airlines had come out with a CPL only vacancy, you applied, you got in, and after getting selected, the airline told you that, hey, buddy, you are being yeah, you are being allotted the A320 fleet. So that is when your type rating will start. So this pre-type rating 320 course, which is offered by Airship, is going to be helpful for those guys as well. Okay. So impact of these impacts, I mean, the government impact of the government initiatives is it will help address a growing demand of trained pilots. All right, then the next one is what is the current number of 320 pilots? Like talking about Indigo, 320 fleet expansion, 500 new aircrafts by Indigo and 210 by Air India. Projected pilot requirement is 10,000. A significant number of them are going to be 320. This is not rhetoric, it is a fact. Training infrastructure, India plans to have 50 plus new pilot training organizations. But then again, where do you want to go is eventually your decision. That's your call. Again, just some quick data. I'm not going to run through all of these, not really very relevant from our current discussion point of view. But most of them, what they're trying to tell you is the future has been bright, had been bright, is going to be bright. Don't get discouraged by these temporary things which happen. Okay. There is no other option, but because the population is increasing generally in India and in worldwide, the average dispensable income of a household is also increasing. There are more and more people who are utilizing their LTC as in leave travel concession, mainly for government servants. They're utilizing their LTC benefits. The Indians have started to travel more. This graph is only going to go up. These dips are just minor, just like how we see those dips in markets, or that how a wave travels. These are just those dips. It has to go up. So I'm not dwelling deeper into this table over here. Pilot demand, yes. So current pilot strength is roughly around 12,000 pilots. Now, don't misunderstand this by saying that, well, nowadays the CPL numbers which are being issued are in 19,000, maybe very soon approaching 20,000, or maybe they already have approached 20,000. This is the current pilot strength. Pilots retire also. All right. So this is a ballpark figure. This is what we have. Indian pilots, not necessarily flying in India. These are all DGCA issued Indian CPL holders plus ATPL holders who are flying maybe in India or abroad. Projected requirement is by 2030, another 22,000 pilots. Okay, almost double. What is the shortfall? Almost 11,000. Annual CPL issuance. This is all, again, a correct figure. Annually, we are churning out around 1,000 to 1,500 pilots per year. It is still insufficient to meet demand. Now, when you look at these figures, you may be forced to think of a question that if we are unable to meet the demand, then how come all of us are sitting in this webinar wondering why did I not get a job? See, airlines, they plan their recruitment strategically whenever their aircrafts are coming in. Okay. So there could be a 3 to 4 month time in a year when the airlines are expecting, let's say, 20 aircrafts to join their fleet. Then suddenly there could be a 5 to 6 month lull period where they only expect, let's say, 4 to 5 aircrafts to join their fleet. Okay. And then again, there would be another phase where they can expect a lot of aircrafts to join their fleet. In addition to this, we have these geopolitical issues, okay, which have a direct impact on the fuel cost. Operating fuel cost is one of the major operational costs for any airline. Okay. So don't look at these vacancies from a standalone point of view. Don't look at them in isolation. You need to average it out over a period of few months or years and then see, have the vacancies been consistently coming? The answer is yes. Have the people been consistently getting into airlines? The answer is yes. I've not heard or not really known, barring one or two guys who have just in my known circle, who had withdrawn altogether from aviation field many years back. Apart from that, I've had my colleagues, some of them who had to unfortunately wait for 7 years. Then eventually they got into Go Air. Okay, there was few guys who just came back to India, did their CPL, converted. During my time back in India, there was no conversion flying. Okay. So they came back, they got their license. In the very next month, there was a Kingfisher vacancy. The month following that, there was a Deccan vacancy. The month following that, there was an Indian Airlines vacancy. There was a company called Indian Airlines back then, when Air India and Indian Airlines were two different government organizations. Okay, so these things are cyclical. Average them out and you will see a positive picture. Okay, so now when we have these 1,200 CPLs per year, uh, you don't get a CPL today and get a job tomorrow. Nowadays, you will have to do your type rating as well. And when there's a sudden requirement in between, airlines resort to hiring expats, okay, because they don't have trained commanders. You will still find a lot of first officer, but to make a first officer, but to promote a first officer to a commander, it involves the organization's a lot of resources. It takes time, okay. But however, otherwise, the picture is bright, specifically for 320 guys. Why is the pre-TR course important? Okay, so here in a nutshell, why is it important? The demand for skilled pilots is increasing, okay, especially the 320. That is something which you all agree with. The other thing is it is going to kickstart your career in the sense, like I said, CPL alone is not going to be enough. You will have to go out, preferably for 320. The moment you go out for 320, in order to contain that startle effect, or in order to not feel overwhelmed by so many lights, so many switches, different new systems. What is a bleed system? What is a hydraulic system? What is an engine anti-ice? What is a wing anti-ice? Okay, what is a tachometer? And many other things. What is a fuel? What is a center tank? What is gravity feeding? What is HP valve? What is LP valve? Because you haven't heard of these things when you were flying Cessnas, when you were flying Piper. So it does get overwhelming. It did get overwhelming. Even I felt the same many years back when I had done my 320 type rating. It is. So in order to contain that startle, we have this course. So it's going to kickstart your career. It gives you a solid foundation. Okay. We start from the understanding of manuals to what is the SOP. The SOPs is divided in phase wise. Okay. Pre-flight. Then you have before pushback, after start, before takeoff, after takeoff. What are the different scans? What is the whole idea? How do you align an IRS? What is the IRS? How does IRS and GPS work together? So when you have a bit of understanding before you actually go for your type rating, it's going to help you a lot. Okay, pathway to A320 type rating. It prepares you for the type rating course by familiarizing you with the A320 systems, procedures, and technical knowledge. Industry relevant knowledge. You gain practical hands-on experience and insights from industry experts. Okay, so we got senior captains who are currently flying A320 who currently flying A320, who will be conducting these classes. So they'll be hand holding you in terms of what happens online when you actually enter the cockpit. How do you bring that seat back? When you sit, where do you start? You start with your crew oxygen push button. What is the importance of it? How do you check your oxygen mask? There are 5 steps which you have to check on the oxygen mask. Thereafter, what is the where do you check the oxygen PSI pressure? And this is all a part of SOP. So they'll take you through again and again, because tomorrow when you actually go for your type rating, these are the similar things which you'll be doing. Okay. So you will not be wasting a lot of these sessions if you are prepared early. Otherwise, what happens is in your type rating courses, guys, let me tell you, you have only a set number of sessions. There are 2 types of sessions in simulators. Okay, they're called FBS or FFS, fixed base simulator or full flight simulator. The difference between FBS and FFS is in FFS you have motion. So when you switch on basically when you switch on the motion, when you are in your FFS session, you will feel as if you're flying the 320. You're flying a real 320. Those G forces, that force of you falling back into the seat at the time of a takeoff, you'll feel those jerks when you land the aircraft. So that is called FFS. FBS is exactly the same, but there is no motion. And these sessions are limited. If you exceed this number of sessions which are a part of the package, then every extra session is going to cost you a bomb. A lot of people end up doing it. I'm not trying to dissuade or discourage that it can't happen with you or it is going to happen with you. It's a very normal thing but in order to give that money for those extra sessions, if you are a bit prepared from early on, quite likely you will not end up requiring those sessions when you're doing your type rating. Okay, then why so now since you're better prepared, it definitely boosts your employability. Airlines are looking for ready to fly pilots. A pre-TR course shows your commitment and makes you more employable. Learn from the expats. Like I said, we have experienced senior guys who have been flying 320 from last many years who will be hand-holding you in these sessions. Faster airline integration. Basically, our assistance to our pre-TR guys is not just limited to the pre-TR. They are absolutely free to get in touch with us even when they come back to India after doing their TR. So it is in order to what to expect henceforth for airline preparation and all. Then confidence for your career. Yeah, of course. If you're better prepared beforehand, it does kind of increases your confidence. Now, how does it look on our website? I'm just quickly gonna run through a couple of slides here, and then I'll take 2 more minutes and I'll take you through our website. Okay. So highlights of our pre-type rating A320 course. We have classes which are conducted online. Okay, we are not offline training institute. All our classes are conducted online. Once they are conducted, if there was a candidate who could not attend that class, let's say someone who subscribed to us and the timings were in the morning, and that respective friend of ours is employed somewhere, is working somewhere, is in a corporate company who does a 9 to 5 shift, could not make it for the class during the daytime, you need not worry. Because once you reach back home, you're all fresh. You can just simply log into your computer, go to the website with your account, and you can watch the pre-recorded classes. In fact, the same classes which were conducted in the morning will be available by the evening. So you can just review those classes at your own, at the convenience of your home, at your own time, at your own speed. You can increase the speed of these classes to 1.5 times, 2 times as well. Then we have computer-based training. We have uploaded some CBT modules of different phases of flight, of different SOPs, which would be discussed by the instructor during the classes and which you will also have the access to review anytime. This is all of this that you see on the screen is all happening before you have set out for your type rating. Okay, then you got your study material. And once you've done these three, then you have a set of mock tests as well, which is going to ensure that your minimum required elementary level knowledge of the A320 before you proceed for your type rating is done to a satisfactory level. Okay, then what are the key features? We have a cockpit virtual tour. Explore the inner structure of the A320 cockpit and understand its critical components. Master the airline's SOPs for a smooth transition to type rating. Okay, now generally the SOPs are 99% the same. It's not that Indigo's SOP to fly a 320 is going to be different from Air India's SOP. It doesn't happen that way. The changes are very minimal. Okay, they are like something as small as when to carry out a brake check. We used to do a brake check even in a Cessna. So we do that even on a 320. Okay, so let's say in Air India, they recommend that once the engines are started, you press the brakes and then release the parking brake. All those guys who are type rated already, they'll understand what I'm saying. You press the brakes and then you release the parking brakes and you check on your brake pressure accumulator that the needles are not rising. Okay, now what have I spoken? The CPL guys, you need not worry what I just spoke. What I'm trying to say is in Air India, you press the rudder pedals, the brakes on the rudder, and then you release the parking brakes, and that's how your brake test is. In Indigo, you release the parking brakes, you let the aircraft move a bit, and then you gently press the brake pedals, and you see that the aircraft is decelerating. So these kind of minor changes only are going to be there in the SOPs. Rest 99% of the SOPs are derived and designed by the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, which is who? Which is the company called Airbus. So it is Airbus who has designed the SOPs, and they are all the same. If anyone had any doubt that what kind of SOP will I be learning over there, will it be helpful for me when I come back to India? Yes, it will be, because it's all going to be the same. Okay. Then additional features, you'll have some doubt clearance sessions. There'll be one class trial. And so this is just a breakdown. Our classes and CBT videos. Okay. You'll have classes, you'll have 10 lessons and one trial class. So if someone who still wants to be sure as to how beneficial it is going to be, we will be offering one trial class before you take a final decision. You can avail this trial class and then take a call. Thereafter, once you have subscribed to us, we will have 10 lessons. They'll include introductory classes, okay? SOP flows and related systems, MCDU preparation, and last but the most interesting of them all, and the one which can actually make you the most, the one which is going to make you feel overwhelmed, are handling the abnormals, your dual hydraulic, green plus blue, blue plus yellow, yellow plus green, your single engine, your unreliable speed, okay, your engine fire, uncontrollable, controllable. There are many things. All right, so you can our instructor is going to take you in a nutshell and to give you a basic idea what to expect in the simulators on all these abnormal situations as well. Then you'll have CBT videos, which is basically covering all the largely the main A320 systems. Different, there are the A320 manuals are big. Okay, they're very big in size. 88 chapters. These 88 chapters are numbered alphabetically. So these CVT videos will cover the important ones, which are going to come in handy for your type rating. Then the study material, okay, 10 lessons plus the PDF copies of manuals, which include the A320 limitations, the FMA, flight mode annunciator. Okay, so now understand these aircrafts are technologically very advanced. Any button you pull or push in the cockpit, be it in front of you, be it down on the pedestal, it will have some implication on the aircraft, on the aircraft's automation. Now, what is that implication? What is the aircraft's way of telling you as a pilot? Okay, the aircraft is also interacting with you. So that way through which the aircraft is interacting with you is called as the FMA, flight mode annunciator. So if you pull a button, push a button, you expect to see some change, right? So that change is reflected on this panel called as FMA. It is called FMA here in Airbus and FMA also in Boeing. It's the same. Then what are your SOPs? What do you mean by a blank MCDU? Now, MCDU is what? MCDU basically is your interface to the computer. In Cessna 152, 172, you did not have any computer because these are smaller aircrafts. On these bigger machines, you got a full-sized computer somewhere under your cockpit floor in the avionics section that calculates, that determines the flight path, calculates the performance for you, throws up messages, does its own calculation. Now, what is your interface as a pilot? What is your interface to control that computer? That computer is called FMGC, okay, Flight Management and Guidance Computer. How do you control FMGC? You control FMGC through MCDU, okay? MCDU is the interface. So just like you have a screen, so that MCDU also has a screen. Then we have a keyboard, so MCDU also has a keyboard. But that CPU, which is there on the side, on the traditional computers in the aircraft, that CPU is equivalent to the FMGC. Okay. So how do you use that? What are the memory items? What are the Airbus's flow patterns? Then last is mock tests. Okay. So with that, it brings us to the end of the this slideshow that I had to share with you. Now with this, I'm just gonna quickly run through the website that is available of Airship and try and tell you that what all things, how you can actually go onto the website, register yourself. This is all after once you're subscribed with us, and then how you can make use of the available resources. Okay, so guys, this is once you log into our website, this is how it looks. Like I said, apart from A320 type rating course, there are many other courses which we offer. We offer DGCA ground classes for CPL. There is a batch ongoing right now for DGCA's ATPL classes, ATPL only, okay, not CPL, ATPL only. Apart from that, we have A320 Air India airline preparation classes, preparatory classes, and so on and so forth, many others. This is mainly applicable to all those who have finished their CPL, want to undergo an airline specific training so that they are better prepared to sit in that Indigo's written exam, Air India's written exam, And not just that, specifically for Indigo, we have gone ahead. We also have a dedicated module in-house for ADAPT. Naturally, the training for ADAPT cannot be done online. So we have a dedicated in-house setup for ADAPT. And then subsequently, we have dedicated online classes for preparing you for the interview and for the GD. We have already run many batches previously until last year when the vacancies were coming out regularly. So we have that whole setup ready. So that's why you see a lot of these courses. Okay, for today, I'm going to run you through the A320 pre-type rating course. So what is available? There's a specific problem when we have a Zoom meeting, like right now we're having this webinar. Simultaneously, either the video or the audio, one of these things will not be working. But otherwise, our website is absolutely flawless, fantastic. Everything is available. So don't get me wrong that there's something wrong with the website. There's nothing. It's just that when we have the Zoom meeting right now, it won't play, I suppose. So as you can see on the right, we have these four headers. Okay, classes. There is one trial, like I said. Then we got CBT video, 63 lessons. Then we have study material, 10 lessons, and then at the end we have mock tests. This is all a part of our pre-type rating course. So what do we have in classes? Like we have pre-recorded sessions. So these current classes, the current recordings that you see on the screen are from our last batch. So if tomorrow, whenever we're starting a new batch, and we are going to be starting shortly, whenever we start a new batch, then these recordings will automatically get updated. So if there is a class which was conducted in the morning, will be recorded and be available by the evening. So for someone who has missed it, you actually haven't missed out on anything. Okay, so let's say, so as you can see, we have an introductory class, which is trial, then SOP flows and related systems, then part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Because type rating training is actually very SOP heavy. So that's why we have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions only for training, talking about SOP. Okay, then how do you prepare the MCDU? And the last one is handling of abnormals. These are all videos, okay? Let me try and play one if it plays. I think the audio is there, but the video won't play because that is a problem when we have the Zoom class. Okay, but anyways, I think you got the gist of it. Then we have some CBT videos. A320 CBT Electronic Instrumentation System EIS. Okay, then what is a ECAM? System description. ECAM normal handling, abnormal handling. Now, what is a ECAM? Electronic Centralized Aircraft Monitoring. ECAM. Okay, this is a place where you get to see what has gone wrong with the aircraft. What is the checklist asking me to do? Have I got a master warning or have I got a master caution? A master warning is in red color, master caution is in amber color. So the way the aircraft is talking to you with regards to the normal and abnormal conditions is done through ECAM. Okay, how do you handle it? When I say how do you handle it, just like there is a certain way of driving the car, right? You first open the door, you sit on the seat. A guy or a girl who's an absolutely diligent rule following person will first open the door, sit in the car. The first thing that they're going to do is put on their seat belts, and then they'll be putting the ignition on. Before putting the ignition on, they'll make sure that the gear is in the neutral. Nowadays, we all got automatic cars, but otherwise, you make sure that the gear is neutral, then you switch it on. So there is a certain way of doing things, right? So this way of doing any job, this way of doing a procedure, it could be a normal procedure, it could be an abnormal procedure. There's this certain way of doing thing is called handling. Okay, so when we say ECAM handling, ECAM normal operation, normal operation, this is what you'll also be taught. This is what these videos are talking about. Okay, so if there is a dual hydraulic warning which gets triggered, how you as a pilot should be dealing it stepwise. Okay, so these videos are all, and then similarly, you go ahead, you have a PFD, primary flight display, part 1, part 2. So they're just trying to explain what are the, airspeed scale, vertical speed scale, heading scale, attitude, pitch attitude, what is the FPV, what is a bird, and so on and so forth. Then you have navigation display, naturally, the one on which you get to see the map, okay? which way, what is your heading, what is your track. And then if you go back to CPL, the difference between the track and the heading is your track made good. Okay, port drift, starboard drift. Now you don't get to see port drift, starboard drift, and in as many words कि लिखा होएगा port drift or starboard drift. No, but I'm trying to tell you that on ND you see all this. You see your track, you see your next waypoint, next to next waypoint. You can increase the range. You see the terrain. You see the weather radar, which is continuously painting the weather ahead of the aircraft. Where are the weather radars returns going to be shown to you as a pilot? They'll all be shown on the ND. Okay. Then you have EIS, normal operation. Pneumatic basically is bleed. Now, bleed is not the bleed that when we get injured and we have blood flowing out of our skin. No. Here, bleed means the damn hot air which is sucked out of the engines and which is available for multiple functions in the aircraft. The bleed air used for anti-icing. The bleed air is also used for air conditioning. Okay. So this bleed air and the whole system around it, that is called as pneumatic system. Okay. So this pneumatic system uses bleed air. This air conditioning system also uses bleed air. Okay. This pressurization system, this also uses bleed air. So what are these all systems? We have different CBTs. So after CBTs, you got some study material like A320 schematics. Let me see if it opens up. You see this? So A320 schematics. So the instructor will take you through only now again. The first impression for a CPL holder would be, ki, boss, what is all this? Yeah. I mean, so many figures to remember. No, you don't have to remember. You just have to understand the flow. And that too, not all the flows, the specific ones, which are because understand what is the agenda of this whole course is to prepare you to a minimum level so that when you go for your typewriting course, you're confident. That's all. The agenda is not to put you under anxiety or under some sort of duress. Ki, boss, what is all this? Okay. But I'm just trying to tell you that these are all things which are available and everything is available online. Limitations, A320. Now, limitations are expected to be known when you're going for your type rating. Okay. SOP, blank MCDU. How do you prepare? You see all this? So these are all going to be taken care very nicely by instructors. And then at the end, you have mock tests. All right, guys. So this is a quick run through of what to expect on our website. I hope I made some sense. Now with that, I'll throw open the forum to you all for any quick questions. If not, if there are none, then I won't be too happy. I hope there are some, and thereafter it's a wrap. Okay, so I'm just going to be quiet now. Please feel free, and I would request you to raise your hands on Zoom. There is a provision here of raising a hand if anyone has got any questions here. Okay, so it seems all have understood whatever I had to tell. There's no question.
This is the video when you played on the website, we couldn't see it, but I think apart from that,
I told you guys, right? So there's this some issue that if we have this Zoom meeting thing now, then only then it creates an issue. If you were to simply log in and see, then you will see it flawlessly, no issues.
All right, sir. So, sir, like you said, I've been attempted both the Indigo vacancy in September, and I've cleared both that and the AIX attempt recently. But then again, like you said, we can't seem to expect any dates coming out because I think everybody's having that delay. So that's why I've decided to actually inquire more about the type rating. So would you be having any idea regarding whether Indigo would be okay with me doing the 320 type rating? And then because I applied through the CPL vacancy. So would that be an issue there, or like how do you think I should go about that, sir?
So what is your current status right now?
I'm a CPL holder, sir. And
what is your current status with respect to your Indigo's result? Have they already given you a congratulatory email, or are you somewhere stuck in selection process?
Sir, I've cleared the second round, the ADAP. That was back in January 15th, and after that they've just been having these delays. And I think most of the people who've had their ADAP since December 15th haven't gotten paid so far. So that's why I was asking you, like, if they would be, what would be?
I got it. Yeah, there are many. I know quite a few. Many of our students only who cleared their adapt, and then after that they haven't heard of anything with respect to the interview and GD. So here, my dear friend, I would say if you go ahead and do your type rating, the airline is not going to make you do another type rating because your license would already be endorsed, but they would still do an in-house, sim sessions. How many of them is a very airline specific thing, but it's not like you have done your type rating, you have gotten through, and now you will skip that whole type rating thing part in Indigo and you will directly be released. It's not going to happen like that. They will make you undergo a few sessions, and that is something which all the organizations do. The rationale of them doing this is they say that we are trying to bring everyone at the same standard of training. Because someone would have done their type rating in GTA, someone would have done it in Jordan, someone would have done it from FSTC. You're getting my point?
Yes,
So
sir.
then the airlines would still be doing those 3 or 4 or 5 sessions in which they are actually checking you exactly what have you learned. So if they
Sure.
find any shortfalls, then their intention is to bring all of you on the same page, all of you on the Indigo stand at the same Indigo standard. Because the guy in GTA may be a bit more, let's say, sharp than a guy who's done his training from some other XYZ area, and so on and so forth. I'm not trying to say GTA is brilliant. I'm just trying to do a comparative analysis.
Mhm.
So, first of all, I want you to be clear with this. If you do a type rating, you can go ahead, but you will still be doing some sessions with India.
Got it,
Okay.
sir.
And the second thing is, if you do a type rating, is it going to jeopardize your selection process? No. Indigo doesn't care. Right now, you're not in Indigo. You are a candidate who's available in the market, who sat for their examination and is somewhere in the middle of the selection process. So whether you do a 320 type rating or whether you do a 737 type rating, as of today, Indigo doesn't care. They're not interested to
Okay.
even know what you go ahead and do.
Okay, sir.
And third thing is, I understand that you guys are in a state of, this thing, ki, boss, what the hell is happening? I mean, do I really foresee, boss? I think I'm in no state or this thing to tell you that what is Indigo thinking, because it doesn't take too much time. Also, I've not heard Indigo ever canceling their vacancies. They eventually end up calling people, even if it's with a delay. Okay. So I would say
Okay.
you may still want to wait it out for a few more months, at least till the time
We-
something gets
okay.
sorted out on this Israel-Iran conflict, or at least maybe just a few minutes, just a few more months. Yeah, you waited it out for so many months. A few more months won't really cost you much. Just take
So that's
take
the
a call, wait it
dilemma,
out for
right?
another 2 months, and then take a call.
Yes, sir. Like appreciate him bits. So that's the delay, right? That's a dilemma actually, because the dilemma is actually whether to go for it right now or to wait it out 3 more months to find out something else. So that's why I asked.
See, there's no harm here. There is no
Mhm.
harm if you go ahead and do your type rating today. I'll be very honest. Because eventually, whether you do a type rating or you're going to wait it out for Indigo, it is still going to cost you the same money. You do it from Indigo, Indigo is going to charge you a bomb for type rating. Okay. Even after you get selected. Not just Indigo, even Air India. They're going to charge you a bomb. It's not that
Okay.
Indigo is going to take the expenses of your type rating. They will be taking it from you. I hope you know that. Those days
Yeah.
are
Yes,
gone.
sir.
Those days
Mhm.
are gone when the airlines were taking care of the type rating costs. I'm someone from that age. I did not pay a single rupee for my type rating, but those days are gone. Nowadays, they are going to take the money from you. So it's actually not a bad option that if you can actively consider start looking for some good places, go out, do your type rating, come back and wait it out. In the meanwhile, if there
Mhm.
is some other vacancy which comes up, let's say uh, out of the world, surprisingly, Indigo only comes out with some vacancy. Okay, now we have type rated batch only vacancies come up. So you will be eligible for that. Okay.
Yep.
Because
Got
going
it, sir.
forward, type rated 320 vacancies are going to be more and CPL vacancies are going to be less. So if you are type rated today or if you get yourself type rated in the next 2 3 months, I think you stand to have a much better chance. There's no doubt about it.
All right, sir. Thank you. Got it.
Yeah. Thanks. Shivam, I saw your hand going up.
Yes, I had the same question that this ongoing Indigo vacancy, is there a chance that we get to see a new vacancy with the ongoing vacancy? Or
Yeah, anything can happen. Anything can happen. This is uh, honestly, I mean, I'm myself an employee of an organization, and there are so many things which even are surprising for me. But yes, like you said, there is nothing stopping Indigo from coming out with a new vacancy altogether while they have still not closed the previous one. Okay, they can still do it. Because the previous one, the one that Mohammed Khalil was talking about, was for CPL holders. Nothing stops them from coming out with a 320 type rated vacancies. They can.
No, sir, I guess
So,
the last vacancy was for both the type rated as well as for the CPL holders.
Yes,
Because
yes,
I can.
yes, it was for both, but I'm saying they can still go ahead and come up with new vacancies because most of these airlines, no, they also have a time period after which they consider a candidate as fresh. Let's say they carried out, an advertisement. They carried out a couple of steps, stages of selection. Candidates cleared those two stages, and then for some reason, an year has passed, an year and a half has passed. Uh, uh, you know, Airlines like Emirates and Qatar and Etihad, I know it as a matter of fact. If they called you and they selected you, and for some reason they could not give you a joining date for at least 6 months, Qatar does it. Okay, if they're not, sorry, Qatar, yeah, Qatar does it for 1 year. The time period is 1 year. If they have not been able to give you a joining date for 1 year, then from the 13th month, you have no fame to claim. You are actually automatically gone back into that same basket of candidates, and you are a fresher newbie for them. So now you can't tell Qatar that, boss, I'm already selected. I have received an email from you 13 months back, congratulatory email that I made the cut. It doesn't matter. Qatar will simply say that, okay, boss, due to unforeseen circumstances, we could not give you a joining date. However, too bad. Now you will have to reapply again. Okay. So with that logic, yes, if Indigo decides to, they can come up with a new vacancy altogether while you all guys still haven't been given any closure. They may just simply say that you all are considered fresh. So with that thing in mind, it is advisable you consider doing type rating because the market for 320 is much brighter than 737. If at all tomorrow you ever decide to do type rating, my suggestion would be consider doing it for 320 instead of 737. That is where I would wrap it up. Okay,
okay,
Shivam?
yeah, sir, got it. And one more doubt, sir. I have heard this thing that this merit thing in the written exam works like airline calls the people who are the candidates who are on the merit for the written exam. They call them first for the induction process. Is it true, or they call they call
Merit
like
is not
batch
based.
by?
Merit is a combined figure of all stages, not just written alone. So if someone has told you, that is not correct. Okay, merit includes your written plus later on your performance in adapt, then your performance in PI, GD, and then the merit is formed. Okay, and
Okay,
merit is only decided to decide your rank in your batch. So let's say if they needed 20 guys, they will pick up the top 20 guys in the merit, in the combined merit.
okay, sir, got it.
All right. Yes,
So I have
Karthik
a
sir.
question.
Yes, Mohammed Khalil.
Yes, sir. So I want to ask, once you sign up for the pre-typing class, will we be having access to it for a prolonged period?
That is true. Long period, as in you mean to say that once you signed up with us, you are here, then you've gone for your type rating, and then subsequently, once you come back, you will still be having the login. That's what you mean to say?
Yeah,
Ask.
sort of, yeah. Prolonged period, yeah.
Well, I don't think I wouldn't want to commit on that. That is something that, as an opportunity, as an option, we can explore. Uh, you know, at the end of my slide, I had flashed a number. I'll just do it again. I would advise you to get in touch with my team. That is something which we can, which we'll have to think of. Technically speaking, at the end of the courses are, I mean, the system design is such that once that time period, I think the time period is there for about a few days or a month, it automatically gets locked. So would that be possible or not is on a case-to-case basis, we can probably consider. That is all that I can say.
Okay, sir. No worries.
Yes, Karthik Sai.
So based on your expertise of 18 years and the current situation right now, so
Mm.
what would be the timeline for us to go ahead and do our type rating, which would be beneficial for us?
See, Karthik, the timeline for you to go and get your type rating was when did you finish your CPL?
back in 2023, sir.
Okay, so the timeline for you to go and do your type rating was in 2023. Okay, you're already running behind the timeline. And
Okay.
I'm not saying it because I'm doing a webinar for pre-type rating. That is not the motive. The motive is I understand I've been through this race, almost more than 16, 17 years back. I know it's very overwhelming. At that one time, we had no such webinars and institutes and these courses and these fancy things. Uh, but yes, specifically answer to your question, what would be the good time? I think the good time was in 2023. You're running behind because India is a very 320 dominated and a 320 driven market. Uh, we all are witness to it. It's not that I'm cooking up a story. You know Air India's fleet, you know Indigo's fleet. You know the orders. Indigo is probably expected to announce one more major order while they are in Paris right now. Paris Air Show is going on. So, with all those things in mind, and with these cyclical affairs, you will have to have a type rating. There's no way that you can get a job without a type rating. It's going to be very tough. The only problem with type rating is it is a recurring cost because it's not that you've gone there once, done your type rating, and then you can just sit at home, enjoy. Unfortunately, you should not do it. You should not enjoy, right? If you have done your type rating, then it is going to be a recurring cost till the time you get a job. Okay. So as long as you are willing to the cost of that recurring cost, I would say that please go ahead and get your type rating done. You're not the first one, you're not going to be the last one. Hundreds and hundreds now, so the figure is running into thousands. Thousands of guys have done their type rating and everyone has got a job. It's just a matter of how long are you willing to wait. If your destiny helps you, you may get a job, let's say, within 2 to 3 months after your license is endorsed with P20. Sometimes when it's a bit of a tough luck, then your wait may increase to about a year or 2 years. Like I said, I've got my friends who did their type rating and then they ended up getting a job in Goa after 6 years. Now, 6 years was the time frame during the worst period of time. When in 2008 there was a recession, suddenly recession came and they got a job with a wait of around 5 to 6 years. In a normal case, I don't think I've seen anybody waiting more than 1 to 1.5 years. Now, 1 to 1.5 years is a very doable wait, yeah. So even if you decide to go for type rating in the next 2 to 3 months, I think you're absolutely fine. But don't. My suggestion would be don't delay it. You will have to arrange for your funds and be on the lookout for these vacancies like a hawk. So they will come. If at all you want to wait it out, maybe you can keep this geopolitical war, which is on the verge of probably spiraling into something big. You can wait out till the time this war is over. If you still want to wait out, it will give you some sense of rationale. Okay, chalo, boss. Right now, there is no way that the industry is going to grow because there's a war going on. The fuel prices are going to go up. Just today, Air India announced that they are going to come down on their international operations by 15%. And if you've seen that media release, the reasons which they've given is most of the airspaces are closed. So what has that caused Air India to do is so now imagine if you were to look on a globe, if you have to fly from Delhi to Paris, let's say. Earlier, before 6th of May, you were able to use Pakistani airspace. Okay, so you could just simply fly over Lahore, cross over onto other side Kabul, and then move further northwestwards over Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, fly over the Eastern Europe, and then enter Germany, and then you're there, right there. Now you cannot fly over Pakistan, so you have to go south toward Ahmedabad. Okay. And then previously, just about 10 days back from Ahmedabad, then you could simply fly over Iran. But now, as of today, even Iran is disturbed. So now you have to go to Ahmedabad, keep going, keep flying further south of Yemen, then fly over Saudi, fly over Egypt. So it has caused an increment of roughly around 2 hours to a flight which was previously 9 hours. So a 9 hour flight has now become an 11 hour flight. So, now these sectors have become operationally unreasonable, I would say, non-efficient. So the airlines like Air India has cut down on their international operations by 15% because of these geopolitical tensions. So if you want to wait out, my suggestion is you can probably at the max wait till the time, hoping for this war to get over. Once it is over, I think it is time for you to decide and go for your type rating. Don't delay it.
Got it, sir.
All right, guys. So with that, it's a wrap. I think we've had a long, close to around 1.5 sessions. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining in on Airship. I hope that I'd made some sense. And yes, please consider 320. Please consider pre-type rating course. It is definitely going to help you whenever you take a call to proceed for your type rating. All right. And for any questions that you may have, I'll just quickly, just for the last time, I'll just share that number with you, and you can contact our team if at all you have any questions. Yeah, so here it is. We can see this. So this is our email, our website, and this is the number. So if there's any doubt, whatever you have regarding the course, you can call over here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the presentation. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. So thanks for joining. Bye.